What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is season 14, episode 7. And Kyle, girl, if you would have just been quiet, if you would have just been quiet, you just got caught in a lie. Mess. But let's get into this review. Sometimes before we get into it, we get a little spicy, just a little bit. And I just got a few things to talk to y'all about. So first up, let's talk about Kyle. So it seems like Kyle is going to end up taking like a week break from filming. So we might not see her for the next episodes after episode 8, which is supposed to premiere next week. So this was posted by Jay's Reality Blog. It had a link to a Hollywood Reporter article where they basically revealed that Kyle, it says this, Kyle revealed she took a week break from filming season 14 and production respected that. So it seems like she's going to take a break after that. I didn't read the article, but I did see that TVD took an excerpt from that article that basically kind of summarizes why Kyle decided or felt the need to take a break. So it says this, Kyle Richards on saying she's done with hashtag RHOBH. She says, I'm not someone who gets depressed. I've had anxiety my entire life, but never depression. I really felt like I was struggling. I expressed that, and I just felt like I could not go into scenarios all the time and just have everyone coming at me. And here's the thing, girl, you got caught in the lie. So that's why everybody's coming at you. But I won't negate the fact that I do think that Kyle is struggling right now mentally, because a lot of people who don't really like Kyle, I feel like won't be able to give her grace. But I do follow other people who do like her. And I've noticed that they're like, yeah, Kyle has been acting funny since last season. And I was like, I think we forget, she lost her best friend. And then on top of that, she's going through this separation/divorce. She might actually be like, sifting through her sexuality. And I think that's a lot on her. But that doesn't negate her behavior or how she treats people, because there is a pattern with Kyle where she isolates people and all of that stuff. But I do think she is struggling mentally. And I think she thought this season was going to be like a Dorit takedown season, but Dorit was able to subvert that. On top of that, I think if Kyle was in a better mental state, she would have been able to have, stronger arguments against Dorit, or play the game better than Dorit, but it's not working for her, okay? So next is Kyle being upset with Garcelle for the whole, like, girl, come out the closet, show your pride, okay? So in the after show, Kyle called Garcelle an a-hole. So this was posted by BlueSky, and it says Kyle Richard calls Garcelle Bouvier an a-hole for suggesting she might be a lesbian. So I took an excerpt from the article where it talks about what Kyle says. So it goes like this. It says, Kyle Richards is hitting back after Garcelle Bouvier questions her sexuality on camera, blasting her Real Housewives of Beverly Hills co-star for acting like an a-hole. She says, reflecting on Bouvier's comments during the after show with Erica Jane, the actress said, what was really going through my head was, you're being an a-hole right now, and don't try to act like obtusey daisy. You know exactly what you're doing. Bouvier, however, defended her remarks, saying, I wasn't pushing her to come out. I'm trying to call her out, own it, and be authentic. Now, Garcelle, that's not your place. It's not. But I'm not mad at it, okay? I'm not. And now all of a sudden, Kyle in her feelings about it. But girl, you was laughing at the table. If you had an issue, you should have checked her right there. But Kyle, you also have to stop acting like past 2 years, you haven't been flaunting around a lesbian that's half your age. Because I think Morgan is like 30. You're 50-something, like 54 years old. She allowed you to tattoo her. You were her love interest in her music video, and y'all almost kissed. It's giving a lot of things, Kyle, and you trying to play in people's faces like they're stupid, and they not. The audience isn't. Your castmates aren't. Girl, be who you are. Show your pride, okay? You might be bisexual. That's okay. It's okay if you a lesbian. Just own it. But that's still not Garcelle's place, okay? But let's get into this review. Let's talk about it. Now I'm gonna be honest, I'm over Kyle and Dorit and this beef back and forth. Mainly because Kyle keeps losing, she's losing the plot. Like she's trying her best to be the one that's the victim in this situation, but she's not. Like you did Dorit dirty. But then I also don't have that much sympathy or grace for Dorit because Dorit is trying to act like, girl, you weren't okay with the way that Kyle treated others, especially when you was clicked up in Fox Force 5. So it's like I don't really care. Either be friends or not, but after episode 8 when Kyle storms out of the spa day, I genuinely want them to stop bringing this up because I don't care no more. Like I don't, okay? So the episode officially opens up right where it left off at the Viper Room with Kyle and Dorit getting into it. Kyle basically telling Dorit, girl, I've already apologized to you. I already told you that PK and I will no longer be in communication. What more do you want from me? What more do you want from me? Girl, Tyrese, another unhinged Capricorn. They just be out here making us look bad, y'all. My God. And so Dorit ends up being like, girl, I want you to stop yelling at me and speaking to me that way with your veins popping out on the side of your head. And they was very bulbous, okay? They was thick. She was like, I'm sick of you doing that. And so then Kyle gets mad. Dorit gets mad. They start really yelling at each other. Dorit proceeds to lean over the table. So then Kyle leans over the table. You got Sutton being like, y'all, no. Y'all chill out, chill out. Erica finally decides to get up and she sits Dorit down and she's like, girl, chill. You got Bose, Garcelle, and Jennifer Tilly being like, oh my God. is this what y'all be doing? And so Dorit says in her confessional, Kyle is guilty. Her actions, the way she's behaving in this moment is showing me that she's guilty with the veins popping off on the side of her head and her yelling. And Kyle's only yelling at me because she wants me to stop having the conversation and stop talking, but that's not going to happen. So then Kyle ends up saying, I already told you, girl, I'm not going to speak to that man no more. So I don't know what you want from me. Like, I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse with you. Like, that's not something I want to do. Like, I'm over this conversation. So then Kyle in the confessional ends up saying that she feels like Dorit is trying to make it seem like there's something like inappropriate going on with her and PK. And she doesn't understand where this is coming from, mainly because when they left, Oceanside or wherever they were at, they were in a better place. So she's just kind of like, I don't understand what kind of, like, I don't get what she wants from me, bro. Like, I really don't get what she wants from me. So they're like, everybody's just kind of trying to take the temperature in the room now. Like, are you good? You good? Like, because the argument kind of like died down a little bit. So then Garcelle ends up saying, how did you find out about the text or that they were texting? And so Dorit was like, no one told me anything. I'm just asking a question because I can't get in contact with the man. Okay. And I know they talk from time to time. So then Garcelle says, when I thought you were going to bring up the issues that you were having, I thought you were going to share about your relationship, not the text messages. So she's kind of like, so are you and like PK okay? Like, are you genuinely okay? And so you got Sutton and Kyle being like, girl, I know she just didn't ask this girl, is she okay? After what we just saw at this table. And so Dorit is like, do you mean that really like genuinely? Like, and she's like, honestly, girl, like, and this is Dorit in her confessional, like, you see the emotional state that I'm in, and now you want to ask me if I'm okay? Like, you haven't taken the past 2 years to get to know me now, and now you want to know if I'm okay? So then Garcelle's like, yeah, I was just asking you a question. Like, are you good? She was like, dang, am I going to be the next one to get cussed out? Are you serious? I said, Garcelle, stop doing that. Garcelle had no business asking that lady, are you okay? But I laughed, so I'm okay with it. It was rude in a sense because, like, you just saw her arguing with somebody that she considers her best friend, and now you want to know if she okay. And so then Dorit gets frustrated where she was like, I'm not doing this. Like, my life is on display right now, and I'm not doing this. So Erica helps escort Dorit outside, and she's like, I'm so sorry, Erica. I know this is your event. Erica's like, no, it's okay. And she was like, Dorit ends up saying, like, I have no problems, like, setting boundaries with people anymore. Like, I can draw the line. So then Kyle ends up being on the inside, being like, you know what, y'all, I'm so sorry. Like, I lost my stuff. Like, I really lost my stuff real bad right there. So then Bose was like, well, maybe she just just needs to get all of that stuff out. Like, she's just, like, it's just all this stuff building up in her, and she's trying to get it out. So then Sutton ends up being like, get it out, but don't take it out on people who haven't done anything to you. Like, is she giving that energy to PK? That would have been my question. So then they start talking about the text messages, and Bose ends up saying, well, granted, y'all been doing this for a while, but, there's sometimes things that can happen, and then eventually you don't find it funny anymore. So she doesn't find this funny anymore, so you probably shouldn't do it. So now Kyle feels like, girl, you trying to paint this picture, and that's not what it is. Like, me and PK have been doing this for years, and, like, for people who don't understand our friendship, they make it seem like it's something that it's not, but it really isn't. Like, we've been doing this for a while, and Dorit's always been okay with it. So then Jennifer Tilly ends up being like, is it really just memes and things, or is it like nudes or something? And then Sutton is like, oh, I hope he not sending you nudes. Like, ugh. So then Erica sends a Dorit off. We watch her get into the car, and Erica says in her confessional, she's like, right now, Kyle and Dorit are both personally having a hard time. They're both going through a separation, and she's like, I've never seen Kyle or Dorit behave in this manner. I've never seen Kyle have her veins pop out all over her face. I've never seen Dorit lunge at somebody. Like, it's a lot going on right about now. The next day, and we see a few of the girls going to Sutton's house. So we see Sutton and Avi arguing about how to cut lemons. I said, I know she be stressing that man out. And so Kyle gets there first, and they're supposed to be having like a country club kind of day. And so Sutton is like, hey, do you want to learn how to play a few rounds of tennis before the instructor gets here and before Garcelle gets here, or do you just want to sit down and talk? And she's like, girl, let's just sit down and talk. And so then Kyle ends up saying her panties are still in a bunch after what happened at the Viper Room. And Sutton is like, yeah, girl, I thought she was about to stroke out. Them veins all across your face. And then so then Kyle ends up saying, you want to know the last time that happened where the veins popped out across my face is when she got into it with Camille Grammer. I said, you're lying. But they do a flashback, because that was like season 1 or season 2, but I think it was season 1. I said, girl, no, ma'am. The last time that happened was last season when Sutton did the like, name them. Like, you were like seething and them veins popped out. You cussed when you yelled at Dorit in Aspen. That's happened before. Like, we've seen the veins come out of your face before, girl. So let's not just say because of that night, all right? So she then ends up saying, like, girl, I just blacked out. Like, when I get that upset, I just black out and I just start, going off. So then Sutton says in her confessional, she feels like Kyle has a problem when people stand up to her, and she feels like maybe Dorit has been cowering to Kyle this long, and now she feels like she wants to speak up for herself, but I really think that's the root cause of their issues. So then Garcelle gets there, and Garcelle's like, girl, my panties are still twisted about what happened last night, because y'all was really going at it. She ends up being like, girl, I really thought y'all was literally about to, like, get physical with each other, like y'all was coming at each other like it was about to go down. And Kyle was just like, yeah, it was just, I'm just over her. I'm over her. I'm over her. And she was like, she's like, I can't take Dorit no more. Like she's being such a bitch right now. So then next thing you know, the instructor's there. Garcelle ends up saying that her wrist hurt. And I said, girl, your wrist don't hurt. But she just wanted to look at the instructor, drink a cocktail, and watch the girls play tennis, but she didn't want to be involved. So we see them play tennis, and then we see them sit down and eat some sushi. Now, I'm not even that like mad at Sutton for the whole infidelity thing, because Kyle tried to play in Sutton's face when they were sitting down at that table when she was like, oh, does this tea have alcohol in it? And even Garcelle caught it and was like, alcohol? And Sutton was like, no, it's regular tea. They still trying to run this narrative that Sutton's a drunk and like an alcoholic. So I was just kind of like, yeah, girl, that's why you got whacked with that infidelity situation. So they sit down and they start talking about PK and about, the whole texting of it all. So Kyle ends up saying that, she told Mauricio about PK, and she also lets it be known that the first person she talked to that morning was Mauricio. So Garcelle was like, y'all still be talking like that? And she was like, yeah. So she was just kind of like, she told Mauricio about Dorit saying that she can't speak to PK no more and like that. And she was just kind of like, he thinks it's stupid and I think it's stupid as well. Like Mauricio was like, that's dumb. But then Garcelle's like, girl, I wouldn't be comfortable with it either if you talking to my man. And then Sutton said, yeah, I wouldn't be comfortable with it either. So then I think Garcelle ends up saying that like she can understand where Dorit is coming from because their situations aren't similar, but they kind of mirror each other where you like hate the person that you're going through a divorce with. Like you don't want your friends speaking to them. And so then that's when Sutton says, well, you understand, Kyle, like you've had infidelity. Like you get why it's probably like a touchy subject for her. So then Kyle looks at her like, infidelity? Like, what you mean infidelity? And then you got Garcelle looking at Sutton like, shut up. I said, Sutton. Like I said, Sutton be saying things that she, like, it's like word vomit, what she thinks she gonna say. But I didn't have no problem with it. Like, girl, you want to insinuate that I'm an alcoholic? I'm gonna insinuate that man that cheated on you. And don't act like you wasn't saying that at the reunion last season. And then they, like, they flash back to the reunion where Kyle is, like, crying about infidelity and how, like, he lost her trust. And I'm like, unless you explicitly say, and that's the thing that annoys me about Kyle is she talks around things instead of just explicitly saying what it is. Like if you would have just came out at the reunion and been like, it's not infidelity or of that sort. There was a different situation where I lost trust with him. And going forward, it's him having to rebuild his trust with me. Then nobody would be like, oh girl, she talking about infidelity. Because like Garcelle said in her confessional, like Sutton just definitely said the unspoken thing like we're not supposed to say. But it's been all over the blogs that supposedly there's been infidelity and Mauricio be in these streets, but no one has ever brought proof to the table. But it's like, girl, that's the narrative that's out there. You might as well speak about it. So what's her name? Kyle tried to make it seem like Sutton was talking about the whole Instagram situation, what they talked about last season, where Sutton had a question when they were in Spain where it was like, are you okay with your significant other liking or commenting on the opposite sex pictures? And Kyle was like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. Me and Mauricio have had some issues with that in the past. And production ends up asking Sutton, are you talking about Instagram? And Sutton said, no, I'm not talking about Instagram. I said, yeah, we know what you're talking about. Kyle trying to make it what it's not, but it's okay, girl. It's okay. The conversation pretty much ends with Kyle basically saying if Dorit's going to continue to behave the way that she's behaving, she no longer really wants to work out or have a friendship with her. And Sutton and Garcelle pretty much agree with her sentiments. So then the next thing we see is Erica, Dorit, and the interior designer we saw last episode. I think it's Martine Lawrence. And they're at this really nice furniture store and they're walking around. He's giving advice, like telling Erica, do you like this piece? Do you like this piece? Trying to give a vibe of like what he wants to do with her house. So then as they're walking, Erica's in her confessional pretty much talking about how, she should have took more from Tom's house or the house that she shared with Tom, because she said, she had nice furniture, but it wasn't comfortable to sit on. It was just expensive and pretty to look at. And she basically says that when Tom got divorced from his second wife, she backed a Mayflower. And if you don't know what the Mayflower is, it's just one of them huge 18-wheelers that people use oftentimes to move across country. And so Erica ends up saying that Tom's second ex-wife did that, and she was like, she should have did that, but she knew if she would have took anything out of the house, it would have been a big deal. It would have been a big deal because I think at the time that Erica ran away like a thief in the night from that house, girl, I think the government had like seized like the property, girl. You was fighting to keep your clothes. So what are you talking about, Erica? And see, that's why people don't be giving Erica sympathy, because Erica likes to play like she's such this victim. And don't get me wrong, if she genuinely did not know that man was scamming them people and using that money to fund her lifestyle, then I think she is allotted the a time to like grieve and be shocked and be horrid and dismayed by what she saw. But I think where Erica loses people is acting like she's such this wounded bird and she was like she has nothing, when it's like clearly you have something, whereas other people, other victims legit had nothing and was promised a lot to rebuild their lives. You're starting low-key in the middle, not at rock bottom, because you're still on Real Housewives of Potomac. Still on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and you getting a good check, and you have a benefactor that everyone has said is like your new man. So it's like you're not at the bottom, but I do understand trying to pick yourself back up, but to act like you're such this like this victim is annoying, Erica. It just is. So the interior designer goes away and we see Dorit and Erica sit down, and Erica just basically says that like she now feels like she's in this period of like not surviving but thriving, like a rebirth and all of that stuff. And Dorit is really proud of her, and she's like, she can't wait till she gets to that part where she's not just stuck in survival mode. So then Erica ends up asking her, so like, how have you been? And she says, I'm really Dorit ends up saying like, I'm really appreciative for their friendship that I have with you and Bose. And she's like, it kind of is like kind of shocking to me that there's people in the group that have an issue with our relationship, i.e., Sutton and Garcelle. And so we see a flashback of where Bose, Erica, and Dorit are walking like on a trail, and Bose brings up Sutton kind of having an issue with Bose getting to know Dorit, or always having conversations with Dorit and Erica, but not choosing to have those conversations with the rest of the group. And they're kind of like, and so then Dorit says in her confessional where she's like, this is so elementary, so high schoolish. Like, it really feels like they're just trying to pull Bose to their side. And I would be on Dorit's side with this information if you were not in Fox Force 5 for like several seasons, when y'all pretty much were fine with icing people out and basically feeling like making them feel othered in the group. So if you're the one saying it's high school and childish, you should know because you participated in it for seasons. So that's low-key why I'm just like, girl, now all of a sudden it's a problem when people are trying to click up because they clicking up against you. But when you was clicking up with Kyle, it was Kyle, Renna, you, Erica, and Teddy, it was fine. It was all fine. It was all fine and dandy, and it was good for y'all to do that type of stuff. But now that you don't got nobody with you for real like that, it's the issue and it's childish. Miss me with that Dorit. Miss me with it. So then the next thing we see is Bose. We see her, Keely, and her cousin. We find out that Bose is going in for fibroid surgery, and she ends up getting like 10 of them removed. One of her fibroids was like the size of I think she said a grapefruit, which is huge. And so she wants to get them taken out. One, because it's causing like a protrusion out of her side. Like it looks like a bump. And on top of that, she's thinking about wanting to have kids with Keely. She wants to have more kids. And Keely wants to have more kids. He's 48. He's never been married, never had kids. And he's thinking about like really wanting to like procreate with her. Now I feel two ways. One, I'm kind of like, y'all kind of late in the game, but I do know a lot of women are starting to have kids like in their mid to late 40s, and that's probably what's going to happen to me if I ever have children, because I don't see no prospects right now. But then I don't think it's wrong, but I also feel like, do you want to have a kid with her because you really like her, Keely, or do you want to have a kid with her because it's Bosma St. James and she is a force to be reckoned with, and you would be ecstatic to have your baby mama be that, a wealthy millionaire? Because I'm like, what does Keely do? Is his money equal to Bose? Does he have more than her? Does he make enough by himself? It's just questions, questions. But she really is appreciative of him being there. He is taking her to the emergency room to get, to get everything done. We actually see that the surgery went well, and it's like 5 hours later. It's 5 hours after Bo's surgery, like I said, and Kyle ends up pulling up to, her house to check up on her. We find out that I think Dorit came by the hospital to check up on her and something like that. So pretty much, Kyle says she thinks Bose is fitting into the group very well, but she also was taken aback by her words at the Viper Room where Bose ended up saying that it seems like Kyle kind of broke girl code. And she says she feels like maybe Bose's view of her has been tainted by some of the ladies in the group, and they do a flashback to Sutton, Dorit, and when they went on that cash trip, basically saying like, Kyle, you do tend to like isolate people and shut them out and ghost them when you're mad at them. And so she's just like, she wants to talk to Bose and have her get a better understanding of who she is. So she comes to her house. They have two floral arrangement. Bose points them out that one is from Kyle, the other one is from Dorit. I actually like Kyle's more. Like, I would have loved to have, and that's partly because I think roses are really pretty, especially like pink roses. And I do love, I don't know what the other flowers were, but the other flowers were really pretty. I would have wanted Kyle's roses. I do like Birds of Paradise because that is what Dorit sent, but I would have took Kyle's one because I just feel like it would have went with anything in your house. So Bose ends up saying, and she does a pretty good assessment of the situation where she's just like, Kyle is either coming over here because she wants me to understand her point of view about the situation, because I do talk to Dorit a lot and maybe she's trying to pull me to her side, but I'm willing to hear her out. So they talk about what happened at the Viper Room, and Bose is like, y'all was really at each other's throat. Like, y'all were really trying to get at it with each other. And she was like, I talked to Dorit, and Dorit is really upset about the text messages, and she really wants to know like what y'all be talking about. And she also was like, she wasn't expecting them to have so much heat and fever for each other. And so Kyle ends up saying that what pissed her off is that she feels like Dorit is trying to paint her to be a certain way, and she was like, she knows I'm not that person, so that's why she was angry. And so Bose ends up saying that she feels like Dorit and Kyle don't have an understanding of what their relationship is. And Bose says, I have a bunch of close friends, a bunch of best friends, but I have one best friend that feels like I'm her only best friend, and she'll send me mean text messages if she see me out and about with other people and other friends. And she was like, she thinks that maybe that is how Dorit feels, that you were her only best friend and you didn't feel that way, and that's where the disconnect is coming from. And I agree with that. It feels like, I don't think Dorit feels like Kyle is her only best friend, but I do think Dorit felt some type of way because she did think that they were closer than what they were. And when Kyle last season was going through what she was going through with the whole, the unaliving, like her friend taking herself out of here, and then her no longer being with Mauricio, them separating, and then Kyle started to lean on Morgan more and other people other than Dorit, I think it really bothered her because it was like, I think Dorit felt like maybe she did something wrong and she just didn't understand it because Kyle doesn't communicate that. But her feelings were definitely hurt. And if Kyle would have just apologized instead of making it what this is, then, or maybe just had to sit down with the lady and just been like, girl, this is what it is, and this is why I'm leaning on these people more than I'm leaning on you. But she didn't do that. It made Dorit feel like she did something wrong. So as they're sitting there, Kyle ends up saying that Dorit never told her anything. Like, she never really shares a lot with her. Production flashes back to being like, girl, yes, she has. And they show when Dorit pretty much said that, like, her and PK were at a point where she was like, and are we going to be together or not? Like, here I am with these kids dealing with PTSD, and you over in London, and I don't know when you coming back. And so Kyle was like, she definitely understands. And so, like Bo said, she was like, girl, that's a lie, because I met the lady like the first time, and she telling me her husband an alcoholic and she getting a divorce. Where's the disconnect? Kyle, you lying. Ends up telling Kyle that honestly she spoke to Dorit and she was just like, Dorit just really wants to see the text messages. So then Kyle, thinking she's slick, goes to her purse and pulls out her phone, and she's like, she's making it seem like I'm being inappropriate, and I'm not being inappropriate, and I've never accused her of being inappropriate, even though there was a moment where everybody online was pretty much saying that I should be, coming at her. And they were talking about when it was the night of the robbery and they were at Kyle and Mauricio's house, and Dorit goes to hug Mauricio's back and like kiss his back as Mauricio is embracing PK. And she was like, everybody was making me, was saying all these things about like, oh, she's inappropriate, she's getting too close to him, and I never said anything. And she's like, so if she's trying to paint me out to be like memes are sinister, we could really talk about it like that, like, don't start with me. And so Bose is like, well, I didn't think it was gonna get like that. I did not think it was gonna get like that. So then Bose is in her confessional saying Kyla is acting like a hit dog is hollering. So there's definitely more going on in them text messages than what she's letting it be known as. And I said, yeah, you right. You were absolutely right. So the next scene we see is of Garcelle, Kyle, and Sutton meeting up at Sutton's house, and they are basically taking Erica on a pizza party because she been complaining about it for the past several episodes. She complained about it to her therapist. She complained about it when they were doing the pizza party for Kyle. You know, at Kyle's house with Kathy. She complained about it when she was talking to Dorit. She complained about it again when they were at the rodeo party that Kyle threw. So she really wants this pizza party and she wants some support and some acknowledgement. So they roll up to Erica's house. I cackled when they were all in the car because Sutton said, listen, Linda's. And Kyle said, who is Linda? I said, not Sutton knowing. Listen, Linda, listen, Linda. That is one of the funniest videos because that little boy was serious. He was like, listen to me now. So they pull up on Erica. Erica got to act like she don't know what's going on. Clearly, she know them people coming to her house. And she's like, oh my gosh, y'all like surprise me. Girl, fake is I don't know what. So they're like, come on, girl. And so they're like, put on some flats. We about to go out. So they put Erica in the car. Erica was like, girl, I feel like I'm getting kidnapped. I don't know where we going. But she said, I hope it's Vegas, okay? So they put a blindfold on her. And girl, they pull up to Chuck E. Cheese. I said, y'all couldn't go to Top Golf, David Buster's, Main Event, which is basically David Buster's on crack in my state. I don't know, but Chuck E. Cheese, y'all don't have like an adult arcade where it has like the old arcade games. Those places are fun because they always have good drink specials. But Erica is like, girl, I'ma just roll with it. She laughs and she was like, see, I thought they was gonna take me to like, a nice getaway. These are my friends with all this money and y'all gonna take me to Chuck E. Cheese, but I'm gonna let it go. So we actually see the mascot. I hate what they did to Chucky. Chucky was a husky rat. Now y'all got this rat on Ozempic and I don't like him. He feels kind of sinister, okay? Bring back old Chucky with a little girth to him, a little weight, all right? So they're playing video games. They're playing the games. Everyone's having a good time. Now, Kyle took me out when she climbed on that pinball machine and threw the ball in the 10,000 and Garcelle said, Kyle. And you got people who are there just looking at her climbing, and I couldn't even be mad at Kyle because me and my sister do that all the time. If you take us to David Buster's, I will climb up there or I'll take the ball and we'll try to like drop it in there. Like you got to get your tickets, you got to get your coins, okay? And so Kyle said, I just wanted to see what it'd be like to put it in the 10,000, okay? I just wanted to see. So then they sit down to have pizza. Now I'm not gonna lie, Chuck E. Cheese has some great pizza. And when I was living in Northern Virginia at the time, our Chuck E. Cheese, we would go there all the time in high school just to go get pizza and some hot wings because a couple of my friends worked there and play some games, So I'm not even mad because the pizza at Chuck E. Cheese is actually like really good. I mean, well, back in the day it was, but I don't know if it's still good now, but I feel like it is, okay? Because them kids be fiending for that pizza. So they're sitting down to get pizza, and Sutton basically says, like, girl, I'm really proud of you, Erica. Like, for what you have done, the way you have rebuilt yourself, it's remarkable. And Erica ends up saying, I'm not built all the way together yet, but I'm living proof that you can fall down and still, like, build yourself back up and become successful. And they're like, yeah. True. And Garcelle says it's so important to show your kids like how like to get up again, especially when you have daughters. And so then Erica says in her confessional, like, she appreciates this gesture. I'm saying, girl, you should be happy that you got a pizza party because I would have gave you nothing if I was them. So I was hoping that she wasn't gonna come like slick out her mouth, but she actually said that she appreciated it. She also said that there's a lot going on with the Tom and situation because Tom is officially like about to start his trial date, and she's just like, the whole situation just sucks. Now I will say Erica looks so good in this confessional. I hate the Elvis Presley confessional with the pink hair, but this black with the bun with the red glove. She looked like a character out of American Horror Story. I lives. I eats it up. Erica ends up saying how like she doesn't want to be married anymore. She doesn't want to be legally tied to anyone. I said, I know, because you're going through legal troubles now. And Sutton says, no, I can agree with that. And they end up asking Sutton, are you trying to get married again? And I said, girl, I wouldn't if I was Sutton. I'm getting $300K a month. I'm never getting married. I'm getting me a boyfriend, but I'm never getting married because I'm gonna keep getting that. I'm going to keep getting that spousal support. Okay, so that man croaks, all right? And she says, right now that's not what she's focused on. What she is enjoying and what brings her happiness is her children and her business thriving. So she's not really focused on that. And she said, right now I'm just trying to show my daughter that like you can get up again, like you can do it, like. And that's when Kyle interjects and she says, if it were me, I my daughters have already told me they don't want to see me laying in bed crumbling. Like they would actually be depressed by that. And Garcelle brings up how you and Mauricio haven't set any boundaries yet, like even with this separation. And she said, no, we're moving at a snail's pace at this point. And I think that's when Garcelle ends up saying that I know separation takes time and you separate to figure out where you guys want to get back together and move forward. But she was like, she doesn't know if Kyle wants this or Mauricio wants it. But more specifically, she don't know if Kyle really wants to separate from Mauricio because it's taking them forever and there's no clear understanding of what's going on in their relationship. So then Garcelle ends up saying, look, Kyle, I'm about to be 100% blunt with you right here. She was like, whatever you want to be, whatever you want to do, be who you want to be. If you want to be a lesbian, be a lesbian. Erica goes, Sutton was gagged too, because Sutton looked at Garcelle like, I know you just didn't say that. Sutton was just like, and then Erica's like, see, Garcelle says what we all want to say or what I want to say, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Kyle laughed. That's why Kyle calling Garcelle an asshole. I'm like, you were laughing. You was eating your pizza and laughing. So were you really that upset about it, girl? But I said, Garcelle, for real? For real? So they laughed it off and everyone kept eating their pizza. I said, I can't believe she just said, be who you are, show your pride. But it was hilarious. So it was like, at this point, girl, we're grown. Garcelle and her professor like, we are grown. We got kids. We are all like, we're going through divorces, marriages. We have businesses. Be who you are. Show up and be yourself. It's not that big of a deal. It's not. So then Erica brings up the text messages again where she says she had a conversation with Doree and it pisses off Kyle. Sutton brings up how girl and Chuck E. Cheese got quiet because the whole entire table was like, ooh, here we go. And so Kyle gets really irritated because she's like, I've done nothing wrong. And for Dorit to try to insinuate that I've done something wrong is really pissing me off. And she was like, I didn't want to pull out my phone because I don't want to have to be that girl that just constantly has to pull her phone out to prove herself to her friends. So she's just kind of like, I'm over this. Like, this is not fair. So then, she ends up pulling out her phone and showing the text messages. And she reads off a text message and I think Kyle really thought this text message was going to vindicate her and prove that like her and PK haven't had any like, serious or deep talks, but it implicated you even more, girl, because the text reads as this. She said, I know you have a lot of friends, but I am also one and here for you. I don't know why she wrote it like this. I know you have a lot of friends, but I am also one and here if you need me. I've never repeated anything you have shared with me and never would, meaning you can trust me always. We'll keep sending you memes and won't forget the laughing emojis. And if you look at the text real close, it is emojis of them laughing and memes being sent. But it also, you implicated yourself because now, what are you not going to repeat? It's giving that y'all have had more things than y'all have talked about. Like, there's been deeper conversations. It hasn't just been surface level. And I feel like Kyle should have just been honest and been like, he's my friend and we've had talks. I've talked to him about you. I've talked to him about Mo. And That's it. Like, it's nothing real deep. It's nothing sinister. It's not like we're bashing you in the text messages. We're just sharing our feelings about certain situations. And I mean, also maybe PK has talked to her about like his sobriety, because, you know, last season Kyle stopped drinking. But the way that Kyle's been acting is definitely given that y'all were dogging her out in them text messages and you don't want them to come out. So then you have Sutton and Garcelle in their confessional being like, yeah, girl, that's way more than memes. Like, it's definitely given that y'all have had way more in-depth conversations about something else, especially with you saying, I won't repeat what we've talked about. So Kyle is just over this whole situation, and she's just kind of done with it. So then the final scene we see is Bose and Garcelle. Garcelle goes to check up on Bose after her surgery. That's when we found out she had 10 fibroids that they removed. As they're sitting down, Garcelle want to bring up that she didn't want to take her shoes off because it completes her outfit. Girl, the outfit was ugly. It was ugly. So take the shoes off. So they sit down. I love the little like sectional Bose had. And we see her assistant. And so she's talking to Bose and she's like, how are you? Bose reveals like everything went well with her surgery. So then she was like, Garcelle's like, we haven't really had time to really talk or anything like that. She said, because clearly you like to talk to Dorit because Dorit is one of the embryos up your coochie. And even the assistant was like, whoa. Girl. And so Bose is like, girl, where's a pillow so I could throw it at you? And so Bose ends up saying she can't wrap her head around why the ladies have an issue with her becoming friends with Dorit. Like, she just doesn't get it. And I think the reason you don't get it is because you don't know the history that is there. Like, give it time. Now, I'm not saying that Bose and Dorit will have issues or Dorit will turn on Bose, but I feel like you can't really judge the women for having issues with Dorit when you haven't been here for the past like 3 or 4 years in this friend group. Like, let them people feel how they want to feel, just like you feel how you want to feel. So then Bose is like, well, what's the issue with me and her being friends? And Garcelle says there's really no issue. It's just the simple fact that she's the common denominator. She says she always feels like her and Dorit take like 2 steps forwards and 4 steps back. Like, she never knows if they're ever going to be on like solid ground with each other. She also says that Dorit is a lot of the common denominator in some of the issues that she has with people. And she talks a lot, but she doesn't really like listen to anybody. And so Bose said, I saw that there was issues, like she's arguing with her best friends, she's getting a divorce. She was like, I'm just trying to be a bridge, and she's like, yeah, you could be that bridge. And then and she was just like, I just didn't expect her and Kyle to have so much anger between each other. And Garcelle said, me neither, girl. Like, I thought they was gonna really fight. She was like, holy crap, like that was a lot. She was like, it was a lot of venom and vitriol. But she said, what's interesting though is, girl, Kyle read us the text. And Bo said, come again? She said, girl, she read us the text. And she said, I'm paraphrasing, but she basically said something to the extent of, I'll never repeat anything that you have shared with me. Like, you can always trust me. And Bo said, what the hell? And Garcelle said, yeah, girl. Yeah. Okay. And so she was just like, Bo says in her confessional, Kyle doesn't understand the definition of friendship, and she also doesn't understand the definition of there's nothing there, because there's definitely something there. So she's just like, girl, you've actively been talking to PK, and so Kyle just lied to me. That's basically what happened. She lied to me. And so then Garcelle says, so what we gonna do? And Bo says, you gonna tell Dorit? And Garcelle said, hell, I'm not gonna tell Dorit. That's their problem. That is it. That is all. As always, remember to be bravely authentic. Definitely hop down in them comments below and subscribe. Okay? Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.